Jeffrey, this pandemic has not only highlighted inequality in this country, it's increased it. Over the last couple of weeks, we have heard many protesters call for police reform. Lawmakers in Washington are working on police reform bills. But when it comes to inequality, you've said to us over and over, education is the first place to start.
It is the first place to start. And Cynthia's story just broke my heart because I know this is happening all over this country. You see how smart and intelligent that young girl was. What chance does she and her siblings have? With one device that they're trying to figure out how to make it. This is an absolute disgrace that in the richest, wealthiest country in the world, we would have conditions where some of our children can't get an education. And this is a crisis. We've got to deal with it like a crisis. And I think we're being so distracted. And it's not that we don't really have to deal with police brutality and the murder of African Americans, but we are seeing the next generation's future being absolutely undermined by this pandemic. And we've got to take really drastic action right now.
Then let's not get distracted. Let's take this moment when we're calling for change and call for more. What specifically needs to be done when it comes to narrowing this gap?
Every single child in this country should have internet connection. This is the same as having textbooks. You can't do school without an internet connection today. And so we need a national strategy, whether you're in the urban centers, whether you're in rural America. We've got to make internet accessible to all children, regardless of their parents' ability to pay. That's number one. Number two, we've got to make sure there are devices for children, for multiple children in a household. Each one needs a device. And the kids in the inner city, they need headphones. Our kids often can't go into a separate room to do their work. They're often in communal living spaces. So the distraction of other people talking and listening is going to interfere with their ability to learn. Third, we've got to really think about how we're using the summer to try to make up some of the time our students have lost. We can't let our kids lose a year of education instruction and think poor kids are going to enter the school a year behind rich kids and that we're going to have equity and equality in this country. We've got to do something right now to make sure we begin to give those kids the kind of supports they need to make up some of that learning loss this summer.
Congress is listening to the protesters. We're now seeing hearings on police reform. We're seeing bills presented. At this same moment, do we need to see more in terms of standing up for building more low-income housing, addressing education inequality?
So here's the dilemma. So we'll do the police reforms. They're important. They're great. We've got cameras on police. We're trying to make sure America knows they've been murdering black men and black women for 100 years. That's terrific. But when that is solved, it is not going to solve income inequality in this country. It's not going to allow African Americans to stop having the highest unemployment rates historically ever recorded, the lowest home ownership, the least amount of wealth in this country. Education is the answer to that question. And we need to turn that spotlight not away from police brutality, but also on education inequality and say, what are we going to do? How do we do a massive, comprehensive community reinvestment campaign in America right now to strengthen these communities, to strengthen these kids so that they can have a fair shot at the American dream?
Mr. Canada, thank you so much for your work. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.